This is ASBR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Owen McKendry as we have just witnessed what is quite an incredible fight in Tokyo, Japan there now as Naoya Inoue knocks out Lewis Nery in round six of their undisputed super bantamweight contest. Owen, what a fight. What have we just watched, mate?
Honestly, what an absolute treat on a bank holiday Monday afternoon because that was sensational. In a way, it's just excuse the language, but as I said off camera, he's just a fucking freak. He's an absolute freak of a man. To be at those weights, the power he's got, and I was on a video with Ra yesterday where we sort of said, "What's the power going to be like?" Because he goes up to lightly, be going up to featherweight. Whether he has another fight, a super bantam, or chooses to go straight up is another question. But it just seems like as he's going through the weights, his power's just carrying with him, and he's just so destructive. It's honestly sensational.
Mate, absolutely staggering, like jaw-droppingly good. I mean, the finish itself came in obviously in round six, and which I'm pleased with. I tweeted just before the fight started. I fancied the finish in Inouye's favor in round six or seven. So happy days. Um, but mate, the finish itself, like obviously we'll come to what the actual fight and the beginning in round one and all of that as well. But the finish itself was just perfect. Like you could tell Nery, he was still throwing and he was going for it, but so precise. Wastes nothing really into it. Even when he's landing on gloves and elbows and all, you still feel like it's making an effect. They feel like he's damaging his opponent, even if he's not landing flush. Just shows you the freakish power, he has the skill, everything. He's an all-round fighter, really, isn't he? He's just the complete package. However, it didn't have it all of his own way, Owen, did he? Talk me through your reaction to when we saw Lewis Nery drop Inoue with a relatively heavy left hook in the first round.
Well, I've said sort of all week, all fight week, in the build-up videos that I've done to this, I thought it was going to be not necessarily like a showdown, but I thought they were going to butt heads early on, trade big shots because the needle and the aspect of Louis Nery is banned previously. But to knock it anyway down that early, I was thinking it was. I tell you what, it was a peach of a left hook as well. I was thinking it surprised me a bit, and it was a question of we haven't seen Inoue in that position. I don't think he was really hurt. I think he just got caught clean. It was a lovely shot, and he recovered relatively quickly and got on his bike to see the round out and used his boxing brain sensibly instead of just trying to fire back. I knew it would be a bit of a firefight, but yeah, shocked to see him go down that early. But look what the response was. It was a case of it was like it angered him. Almost, you shouldn't be doing that to me. I'm not letting that happen. So yeah, I didn't expect him to knock him down. I expected Inoue to get caught, but it's a beautiful shot to be honest.
Yeah, man, it was a perfectly timed shot. I think it was, Inoue is known as his counter puncher. But it was Nery who obviously counter punched Inoue and landed that left hook. Obviously, as we've, kind of as an old cliche in boxing as well, the southpaw against the orthodox fighter. If you're from an orthodox perspective, you have got to be wary of that backhand left from the southpaw stance. And that's what landed a big left hook, and it was perfectly timed. I mean, I think it was more of a flash knockdown probably than I don't think maybe probably let's be honest, he was hurt a little bit, but he did well to see out the round and then he shook it off. Like it wasn't like he was beginning round two and on unsteady legs or anything. But I think it kind of woke him up in a way a little bit. I mean, did he just kind of was he overconfident? Did he just think he was going to run through Lewis Nery? I think, it sounds ridiculous, but I think that's almost the worst thing that could have happened to Lewis Nery. He landed that shot, and then after that, it was like, uh-oh, here he is now. And like, I knew he just kind of, let's be honest, battered him after that, really. Um, but to give Lewis Nery his credit, he played his part. Like, that was an incredible 6 rounds we got, or 5.5 rounds, whatever it was, mate. Like, we were texting each other, obviously, there during the fight as well. And it's like, well, what a treat. What an absolute treat. And then they obviously getting the knockdown um back in round two, which wasn't a massive knockdown. I think it was kind of a he caught Neary off balance a wee bit as well. Then it was probably all in a round three. Similarly in four, five he got the second knockdown, which was a bit heavier. And then as we said as well, last 30 seconds of round five, it was just like right, you're not allowed to defend yourself. Let's just swing. which was unbelievable. And then ultimately the finish coming in round six, mate. But like, what a fight! You just go into Inoue fights now, and like, I think I like him even more now after seeing him kind of come through a bit of adversity there. I think. Do you think he showed another part to his game there that when the going gets tough, he can bite down in the gum shield and fire back?
Yeah, I think that's a worrying sign for any fighter. Even the featherweights are now on notice that you can get knocked down that early as the home fighter in front of 55,000 people in a weird sort of grudge match in a sense. It was almost like Inoue was fighting for his whole country and had everyone on his back. So when you add all of that into the equation, for him to just almost shake it off, get on his bike for 30, 40, 45 seconds, whatever it was. Um, and then to just take over the fight from round two onwards was outrageous. So I think he's shown that if he is faced with adversity, brush it off. Shit happens almost sort of mentality and get straight back on with the job. But even after being knocked down, like you say, he was definitely hurt, but I think it was more of a flash knockdown than legs had gone shaky sort of thing. So for him to just get back up and still be so precise, so accurate, and just be sort of he just breaks you down so much. Like you say, some of his punches almost look like he just jumps in and throws them, but they're so accurate. And when they're that accurate, I dread to think, even at those weights, how much it hurts getting caught, especially his body shots, because I can't think of many better fighters who have got a better arsenal of body shots in boxing at the moment than Naira Inoue.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. The body shots were, oh, imagine taking one of them. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I'm probably like I'm probably nearly double into his weight, mate. And I wouldn't fancy taking one of those body shots at all. Like, he doesn't really waste a lot, even if he, as I said at the beginning, even if he isn't landing flush, it's still having an effect, which will be interesting to see, what he does next, whether he stays at Super Bantam for another fight or two, whether he just says, stuff it. Yeah, I'm going up to 126. Bring me all the champions at featherweight as well. Like, you never know. It remains to be seen, mate. That's for another video, so do check that out on the channel. But yeah, just kind of I kind of wanted to agree with what you said before. Actually, one final question, mate. What you said there about like I think it's almost another box checked of Inoue. Like the fact that we didn't know what he was like when it got really tough. We obviously saw the first Daenerys fight, didn't have it all of his own way, got busted up a little bit, ultimately won the fight. But a lot of people were thinking, could this be, is he unbeatable? He showed some frailties, but since then he's barely been touched. Let's be honest. So I think the fact that he got heavily enough knocked down still came back to obliterate his opponent within 6 rounds is just like testament to how good he is. And it's another big, massive green tick in the box of Naoya Inoue. And just finally, to finish, mate, I think it's a kind of a yes or no question, I suppose, but is Naoya Inoue the single best pound for pound fighter in the world?
I think he is. I've done videos before where I said he was sort of top three. You can put him wherever you want, but you look at his resume, you look at the fighters, undisputed in two weight classes, four weight world champion, and it's not even just the bouts he's picking up and the names he's picking up, it's the way he's doing it. Like you mentioned, Daenerys faced his first bit of adversity. Daenerys, a legend at the lower weights, been around forever. Um, didn't have it all his own way, got busted up a bit, so knocked him out in 2 rounds in the rematch. It just seems like he's got an answer for everything and anyone. No matter what you put to him, box on the back foot, he can bring the attack to you. He can get knocked down. Do you know what I mean? He's just seems like he's got an answer to everything. And I think when you go resume for resume, skill set for skill set, power for power, to be that weight and have that 27 wins, 24 knockouts now, that's absolutely outrageous for a flyweight, bantamweight, super bantamweight. Do you know what I mean? It's outrageous. So for me, yeah, he sits firmly at number one. And I think if he goes up to featherweight and cleans up in featherweight and becomes undisputed there, I think we're looking at a pound for pound all time great.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, what a treat, as we said. Some Monday afternoon boxing on bank holiday. What better way to spend it than watching the great Naoya Inoue in action? Really enjoyed that one. Owen, guys, definitely stay tuned to the channel. Plenty more content on all of the biggest and best fights, as well as a video here about what NAOYA and what NAOYA Inoue may do next, how he would fare against all the featherweight champions. But yeah, stay tuned. Owen, thanks for joining me, mate, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Pleasure as always, mate.